Hello everyone, welcome to Vysh's YouTube channel, and this is Pooja Sharma and I'm back with your Geography Class 11th NCERT series. So today we will be reading about the natural vegetation of India, and also I have divided this chapter into two parts. So in the first part we will be reading about the types of vegetation which is found in India, and in the second part we will be reading about the forest cover, forest conservation, wildlife and wildlife conservation of India, and also the biosphere reserves. So before we begin with the video, this is the WhatsApp number of Vysh IS. So if in case you are interested to enroll for the test series, or you have any UPSC related queries or doubts with regards to your preparation, then you can contact on this number. You can even email us and also visit our channel for more videos of different subjects. These are completely free lectures, but very soon these free lectures may turn into paid courses if we do not get proper response from you guys and active participation. So if you want us to continue providing you guys free lectures, all you have to do is like, subscribe and share with as many as people possible, because it can help them also in their preparation for any type of government exam, not even UPSC, any exams. So let's begin. So as I said earlier, that after every two chapters I will be showing you the previous year questions that came from that particular chapter. So these 5 questions which you can see on the screen are from the drainage system of India. So they are direct questions also, indirect also. So direct ones will be asking about tributaries of a particular river, like this, tributaries of Brahmaputra, tributaries of Godavari, and such questions over here, 2016 one, it will be mixture of current affairs and geography, static portion. So make sure that whenever you are reading any subject, you always link it along with the current affairs. Over here also they are asking us that we have to relate the river with the famous place which is in and around the river, and here they have given us detailed information about a particular river, and they are asking which points are correct. So either 1 can be correct and 2 can be wrong, all 3 can be correct, 1 can be correct and rest 2 can be wrong. So this is just to show you that how questions can be formed and asked. So whenever you read geography, always analyze the previous year papers questions, so that while reading, when you read a certain passage, you will understand, yes, this point can form a question. So in the next slide also, you can see over here, this is from the climate chapter, and then the next question is from again rivers, that is, it is flowing from which state. So here not only Arunachal Pradesh, they can put any state over here and then they can ask you the same question. Then we have a question from the global warming and climate change topic. So this is also from the climate chapter. And these 3 next questions are again indirectly related to rivers. Over here, which are the national parks which are flowing through these rivers. So you need to remember all this, memorize all this. You have no other choice, because there are certain things which are very factual, so that they cannot be neglected. So this is also indirectly rivers, because the region where kharif crops are grown, and here it is again the Narmada river question. So the natural vegetation of a place, it is when a plant community, it is left by its own and without any interruption or disturbance over a long time. So this will help the individual species of the plants to adjust and adapt to the climatic and the soil conditions, which will make it suitable for other living beings which are living in that ecosystem. It will form its own type of ecosystem. We all know that India has a great variety of natural vegetation, as we can see in the Himalayan ranges that are filled with temperate vegetation. Then we have tropical rainforest in the Western Ghats and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Also, we have the tropical forest and the mangrove forest in the delta regions, and the thorny vegetation which is present in desert and semi-desert areas of Rajasthan. And here there is this plant called the cacti or the cactus, which is very famous. Whenever we think about a desert, we get this imagination or this picture in our mind of this cactus plant. So here we find a wide variety of bushes and thorny vegetation. So depending upon the climatic conditions and the various other factors, the vegetation of one region will be different from another region. And further, on the basis of the common features which the vegetation shares and what is the dominant type of vegetation that we see in that area, which will come up as the majority vegetation present over there. And according to the climatic conditions, the Indian forests have been divided into 5 groups, which is the tropical evergreen and the semi-evergreen forest. Then we have the tropical deciduous forest, then the tropical thorn forest, montane forest, and the mangrove forest. Mangrove forest is also known as the littoral or the swamp forest. So you can see over here, with the difference in altitude, on the bottom level we see tropical forests, but on the higher levels we'll see tundra type of vegetation, that is the alpine. So we start with the tropical evergreen and semi-evergreen forests. So these forests, one very interesting fact about them is that they'll remain green throughout the year, and they don't have this particular time where they shed their leaves. So throughout the year you will find the trees filled with a lot of leaves and flowers and fruits, and the vegetation will be very dense and very thick. So they are found mainly on the western slopes of Western Ghats and the northeastern region, and also the island groups, that is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Then they are found in areas where the temperature is warm and there is humidity present. So the annual precipitation or rainfall which is received over here is over 200 centimeters, and the mean annual temperature will always be above 22 degrees Celsius. So these are very well stratified. They are spread nicely and they have this thick and dense forest cover, and they'll also have layers of shrubs and creepers in the bottom layer of the ground. So it will be very close to the bottom layer, and they'll have short structured trees as well as tall varieties of trees. So sometimes what will happen, the amount of rainfall, sunlight and other resources and factors which are present over here, you will not find even a single small empty patch. Even if there is one empty patch of land, very soon trees will start growing in that region. Short plants or trees will start growing in this region, and sometimes this canopy of this region will be so thick in certain areas of the world that it won't let sunlight penetrate into the grounds of the trees. So the height of these trees, it can go up to 60 meters or above, and they don't, as I said earlier, they don't have this one perfect or definite time to shed their leaves, fruits and flowers. So the trees which are found over here are ebony, rosewood and mahogany. Then we have the semi-evergreen forest. So they are found in less rainier parts, and we see a transition from moist deciduous forest to dry deciduous forest over here. So what happens is, this mixture, it will have a mixture of evergreen and moist deciduous trees, and the undergrowing cover which forms at the bottom layer is of climbers. So this will look like the area is fully green and there is full greenery from the aerial view, when we see from the aerial view. But what will happen is, this will have it will not have so thickly and densely packed trees like the tropical evergreen forests. So the main species of trees which are found over here are white cedar, hollock and kale. Then earlier what happened was, the British, they became aware of the economic value that the Indian forests have. So this made them start this large scale of exploitation in the form of deforestation and overusing the resources, natural resources of India, because they got it for free. They didn't have to give anything of theirs. So they made sure that they used these natural resources and exploited them to their best in order to turn it into commercial use and gain a lot of profit. So slowly they changed the structure of these forests, and the forests of the Kumaon and the Garhwal regions, the oak trees which are present in these regions were replaced with the pine trees because it was used for the wooden slabs that were laid in the railway lines. Then also some forests, they were cleared for the plantations, tea, rubber and coffee plantations, again for commercial purposes. And the timber which came from the trees, it was used for construction activities. And one more important point was this material, it was a very good insulator of heat. So the protectional use of the forest was slowly turned into commercial use. Then the next forest group is the tropical deciduous forest. So these are found in majority in India, and they are also called as monsoon forests. So what happens is, the places where tropical evergreen forests are found, the first one, it is found only in places with high rainfall, but not all areas of India receive high rainfall throughout the year. So certain places which receive this moderate type of a rainfall, which is sufficient for a limited amount of vegetation, is the deciduous forest. So that's why we find them in majority. So they are spread over regions which receive rainfall between 70 to 200 centimeters, and again on a basis of how much water is available in a particular area, they are further divided into moist deciduous and dry deciduous. So as you can see in the picture, this is moist deciduous and this is the dry deciduous trees. So the moist deciduous trees, they will be found in regions which have rainfall between 100 to 200 centimeters, and the places where these are found is the northeastern states along the foothills of Himalayas, then the eastern slopes of Western Ghats and the Odisha region. So these are some of the trees which are found over here, like sandalwood, teak, shisham, hurra, maua, amla, simul, kusum and sandalwood. So dry deciduous forests, they are found in vast areas of the country where rainfall will be between 70 to 100 centimeters. So when we see on the wetter margins where there is more rainfall with compared to the dry deciduous forest, we will see a transition to moist deciduous forest, and in the drier regions where rainfall is not reaching that much or rainfall is not happening that much, we will see a vegetation of thorn forests. So these are found in areas where the these are found in areas of the peninsular plateau and the plains of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, as you can see in the picture. And the higher rainfall regions of peninsular plateau and the northern Indian plain, they'll form this large stretches of land filled with trees which are spread at little far away intervals, and it will have patches of grass. So these are called those parkland landscapes. So it will have teak trees and other trees which are spread here and there, like 2 over here, 3 over here, then again 2 over here, and then in between there will be this patches of grasses. So when the dry season will start, these trees will start shedding their leaves and totally the trees will become empty, and we will see the branches of the trees and only the grassland vegetation, only that will be seen during the dry seasons. So some of the trees which are found over here are tendu, palas, almatas, bear, care and axlewood. And what happens is, in the western and the southern part of Rajasthan, the vegetation cover will be very scanty and the rainfall will be low, and a lot of overgrazing will happen by the domestic cattle and domestic animals which are present over there, because they'll overeat the vegetation, and then this will cause a shortage in vegetation or the grasslands present over there. Then we have the tropical thorn forest. So these tropical thorn forests, as you can see in the picture, they are in the regions where rainfall does not reach. So this is the leeward side of the Aravallis, as we already know, the leeward side of the mountains. That is why we find a desert over here. And over here also, as I said earlier, in the interior parts of the peninsular plateau, this is the leeward side of both Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. So rainfall won't reach in this interior area. So that's why we find tropical thorn forests over here. So they receive rainfall which is less than 50 centimeters, and they have a variety of grasses and shrubs. So small size plants are found over here, and it will include areas, semi-arid areas, which are Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Haryana and Southwest Punjab. So in these forests, you will see that the plants will remain lifeless for the most part of the year, and it gives an expression of scrub vegetation. So some of the trees which are found over here is date palm, babool, bear, khair, neem, kejri, palas. Also the tussocky grass which is grown over here, it grows up to the height of 2 meters, and this forms the undergrowth layer of vegetation. Then we have the montane forests. So montane forests are obviously found in mountain regions. So with the decrease in temperature because of the increase in altitude, we'll see a transition or a change in layer of natural vegetation. So what happens is, in the top layer of the northern mountains forest, we'll find tundra type of vegetation like lichen, moses and alpine type. But in the bottom layer, we'll see tropical evergreen forest. Then as we go upwards, we'll see deciduous forest, then temperate forest. So this will keep changing at every layer of the mountain ranges. So as I said now, that they are classified into two types, which is the northern mountain forest and the southern mountain forest. And when we look at the Himalayan ranges, we'll see a succession of vegetation that is from tropical from the bottom to tundra in the top layer, tropical in the south and tundra in the north. So this is mainly because of change in altitude. So then we move on to the deciduous forests, which are found at the foothills of the Himalayas, and it is then succeeded by wet temperate type of forest, which is found between the altitude of 1000 to 2000 meters. Then the higher hill ranges of northeastern India and the hilly areas of West Bengal and Uttaranchal, Uttarakhand, we'll see evergreen broad leaves trees such as the oak and the chestnut. And between 1500 to 1750 meters, we'll also find pine forest in abundance, and the cheer pine is a very important commercial tree which is used for commercial purposes. Also we find a tree named deodar over here, which is highly valued endemic species which is grown in the western part of the Himalayan range. So this deodar, it is a very durable wood, and it is used in construction activity. So then we have the chinar and the walnut trees. So these trees, they are very helpful for the Kashmir handicrafts, and these both trees are found in this region, which is the northern mountain forests. Then we also see the presence of blue pine and spruce at an altitude of 2225 meters to 3048 meters, and then at many places at this zone we'll find temperate grasslands. So you can see a mixture of forest in the bottom, and then as we move up you will see temperate grasslands. So in the higher reaches, again as I said earlier, there will be a transition to alpine forest and pastures. So these pastures are mainly used by the tribal people, and the vegetation which is found in these higher reaches is silver firs, junipers, pines, birch and rhododendrons. So these rhododendrons, they'll be very beautiful when they'll form a very beautiful scenery type of place, and this vegetation occurs between 3000 to 4000 meters. So these pastures, as I said earlier, it is used by the tribes like Gujars, the Bakarwals, Bhotias and the Gaddis. So the southern slopes of the Himalayas, they carry a thicker vegetation cover because of the relatively higher precipitation, and the drier north on the top layer, we'll see it is very dry. So as I said earlier, when the winds or the clouds, they strike the mountain range, they'll be very heavy. So once these heavy clouds, they strike the mountain ranges, they'll pour out all the rainfall in the bottom layer only, and as they are moving upwards, the rain will start decreasing less and less. So by the time they reach the 3/4 part of the mountain, the entire rain will get drained out, and then by the time they reach the leeward side or the other side of the mountain, the rainfall will be just in few droplets, so it will completely disappear. So that is why we see more thicker vegetation, or the forests are very thick in the lower regions, but in the higher regions it will be spread across wherever rainfall was occurred. So here in the higher altitude we'll find moses, lichens, as I said earlier, and this will form the tundra vegetation. So then we have the southern mountain forests, which are found in 3 distinct areas of the peninsular plateau, that is the Western Ghats, Vindhyas and the Nilgiris. So these regions, they are closer to the tropics, and we find that only above 1500 meters above the sea level, we will see this temperate vegetation at the higher regions, and we will see subtropical vegetation in the lower regions of the Western Ghats. So mainly in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka it is found, and the sholas, which are the name of the temperate forests in Nilgiris, Annamalai and Palani hills, are found in these regions in abundance. Then the trees which are of high economic significance are also found over here, like magnolia, laurel, cinchona and wattle. So such forests, they are also found in the Satpura and the Michael ranges. Then we have the mangrove forest. So mangrove forest is also known as the littoral or the swamp forest, because it is known swamp forest because of the swampy and the marshy conditions which are found over here. So India has a rich variety of wetland habitats, but this is in the form of paddy cultivation. So 70% of these wetlands are in the form of paddy cultivation, and the total area of wetland is around 3.9 million hectares. And as you can see in the picture, this is the Chilika Lake, which is in Odisha, and this is the Keoladio National Park, which is in Bharatpur, Rajasthan. So these two places have been protected under the Ramsar Convention, which is also known as the Convention of Wetlands of International Importance. So these two sites are very important from the international perspective. So an international convention is an agreement which is signed or present between member states of the United Nations. So the country's wetlands, they have been grouped into 8 categories. So the first one is the southern region, the reservoirs of the southern regions of Deccan Plateau, along with the lagoons and other wetlands which are found in the southern west coast of India. Then we have the vast saline expanses of Rajasthan, Gujarat and the Gulf of Kutch. Also we have freshwater lakes and reservoirs which are present in Gujarat, starting from eastwards through Rajasthan. Then we see the Keoladio National Park and also in Madhya Pradesh. Then the delta wetlands and the lagoons of India's east coast, Chilika Lake. So this is on the east coast, and then southeast coast. And then the freshwater marshes of the Ganga plains. And then we have the floodplains of the Brahmaputra, the marshes and swamps which are created in the hills of northeast India and Himalayan foothills. So this is a very important picture which you can see on the screen. These are all the Ramsar sites which are present in India. At present, I think there are 46 Ramsar sites. So what you can do is, once the video is over, you can go and you can read about these Ramsar sites, because they can be asked as current affairs questions, and also you can make short points on each of these Ramsar sites, and it can help you for your revision in future. So the lakes and rivers of the mountain regions of Kashmir and Ladakh is another category, and the final category is the mangrove forest and other wetlands which is present in the islands, especially the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So these mangroves, they are mainly found near the coasts because of the presence of water. So they grow along these salt marshes because of the salinity of water, and they form these tidal creeks, mud flats and estuaries. So estuaries are very common in delta regions. So they have a number of salt tolerant species of plants which can grow in that salinity region. Like salt content in the water will be too much, but still these plants will be adjusted to that salinity or the salt content, and they'll grow in that region. So this we can see a number of trees and plants which have crisscross roots, and they'll form creeks of stagnant water. So what happens is, these roots, it will hold the water in place. So the water which is stationary and standing in one place is known as stagnant water. So along with stagnant water, we also see tidal flows over here, and these forests, they give shelter to a wide variety of birds. And almost 7% of the world's mangrove forest are seen in the Indian mangrove forests, Indian region, with the area of 6,740 square kilometers. So these are very much in abundance, and they are found in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and the Sundarbans of the West Bengal. This is a very world famous mangrove forest, and the other areas which are important is the Krishna, Godavari and Mahanadi deltas. So these forests, they need conservation at the moment because large amount of exploitation is taking place because of the human settlements and other industrial and developmental activities. So hence it needs conservation. So this video was dealing with what type of vegetation we find in different regions of the country. In the next video, which is a part 2, we will learn about the forest cover in India, the difference between the forest area and the actual forest cover. Then we will be reading about the wildlife and wildlife conservation. Also, we will be reading about forest conservation also and what steps have been followed to take forest conservation. And then the last, we will read biosphere reserves, which are very important, and these topics are few topics from where questions are asked every year, like for sure. So please make sure that you like, subscribe and share these videos, because see, we are not asking you any money or any financial support. We just want you to encourage us by liking our videos, commenting and also subscribing, so that we will get motivated to make more videos for you, so that it will help you in your UPSC preparation. So you can also contact on this number and you can ask any doubts or queries for your UPSC preparation and also for your UPSC test series. So I'll be back with part 2 of the natural vegetation chapter. Till then, all the best and thank you so much.